Let's look at this incredible month of March from an astrological point of view. We already know that 2025 is going to be a tremendous year, and probably the most intense month or period of this year is spring, March and April 2025. In my last forecast, I spoke about how February would be a ramp into the intensity and weirdness which will probably define the month of March. A few interesting things happened, including Mars finally going direct after a long and annoying retrograde between the signs of Leo and Cancer. And by the way, you're seeing the chart for the 1st of March. And as you can see, Mars is here on 17 degrees of Cancer, having gone direct less than a week ago. It is moving very slowly, starting to pick up speed, and it will still be in Cancer until the 18th of April. And with all of this intensity happening in the month of March, which we will talk about, the fact that Mars will still be in Cancer is important. Even though the annoyance of Mars retrograde has ended, Mars is still in shadow and it's still in Cancer, the sign of its debilitation. It's still there to wrap up some of the lessons on emotional impulsivity, on how our moods and feelings get in the way of our ambitions, our goals, right? All the things that Mars represents and that Mars in Cancer can have a particularly hard time with. On the other hand, Jupiter has gone direct at the beginning of February. It's still trying to work up speed. It's not quite up to its normal pace yet. But regardless, things in Gemini are on the move. Think communication, think intellectual endeavors, think technology, think short distance travel. All sorts of interests, activities, logistics, bureaucracies are starting to fall more in their natural place and rhythm with Jupiter moving direct. But not so fast, because we do have a Mercury retrograde incoming in the month of March, and we actually just entered shadow. So yes, these things have started moving, but while they're moving, they may get a little bit entangled with this Mercury retrograde about to happen between Aries and Pisces. But as always, that will be a great opportunity to figure out how we could be improving, how we could be doing better on our tasks and activities, how we could be communicating more effectively. With Mercury retrograde, it's always about efficiency and practicality, and this goes to whatever area of your chart these particular transits are going to be affecting. This Mercury retrograde takes place between the 15th of March and the 7th of April, and if only that was it for this month, but it's not. I mean, look at all of this cluster of planets here, and they might seem like they're all spread out between Pisces and Aries, but at the end of March and beginning of April, they're all pretty much going to cluster around that area, which also happens to be the equinox point, a very powerful point in the zodiac. So get this, hang in with me here a second while we try to make sense of this. Not only do we have a Mercury retrograde happening here, we also have a much more special and interesting Venus retrograde happening during the same time and the same region of space here. We have Saturn and Neptune, slow-moving planets, inching closer to this equinox point, preparing to transit into Aries. And to top it off, all of this is going on during eclipse season, and the eclipses are also on the Pisces axis. In mid-March, we have this total lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo while the sun is here in Pisces and Mercury is just starting its retrograde. And the second one, a partial solar eclipse happening on the 29th of March. It's considered to be happening in Aries because this is where the new moon takes place. But I've said this before, guys, and remember, the energy of an eclipse is always more felt in the sign where the North Node is, because the lunar nodes are the ones that cause the eclipses. They're the points where the path of the sun and the moon actually meets. So yes, the new moon happens in the sign of Aries, but for me, the eclipse energy will be all about the sign of Pisces. Not just any part of Pisces, but right next to this equinox point where the North Node is joined by all of this entourage of planets. Now, given the energy of Pisces, yes, this period can be a massive leap in spirituality, in freedom, in expansiveness. But Pisces is also diffuse and unstructured. And as I pointed out in my forecast for 2025 back at the beginning of January, this can really start to degrade our rules and boundaries and system of norms that we're accustomed to. If you haven't already, I recommend you watch that video, my forecast for 2025. We're already starting to see the boundaries, the rules, the norms starting to degrade. We're seeing that in the political situation, in all of the discourse, all of the actions being taken. We're going to see more of that. This is just the beginning. And as I said back then, it is important important, especially now in March, in April, to know who you are, to know where you're going, because this period is going to serve as a very powerful catapult. It's going to be very important to reverberate your highest frequency, to have your best of intentions constantly on your mind during this period. Whatever signal we put out into the universe this March is going to be very important in defining our destinies individually and collectively from here on. This is not about thinking positively, about affirming, about doing certain things, although all those things are well and good, they can help. And most of all, it's about embodying a frequency. Try to fill your body with the frequency that you would love to carry with you for the rest of your life. Try to imagine your best possible version of life and how that feels like. Try to really feel that. And this one exercise is probably going to be the most powerful thing you can do during this month of March. The things we do, there are short-term directions and aims, can be a little bit scattered and confusing with all of the retrogrades, the eclipses going on. What really matters during this time is the energy that you consciously, intensely try to embody, because that's going to tell the universe what exactly it is that you want from life. And during periods such as these, the universe is listening.